IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. This is Cyrus reporting live from some place where I hear nasal sounds happening. Obviously, my co-chairpersons of the committee are not muted, but this is a cock and bull of sorts. And today we've got some various topics to discuss. And I swear today, whatever happens, we will discuss at least one. Okay, we've been very poor with the average in 2021, but 22 is going to be different. We will discuss one or two topics every time. There's no point in having a show about discussion when there's no discussion. The whole discussion is a pointless discussion because you don't reach the point of the discussion, which we had in point form, written and given to each other before the show starts. But before that, I have a slight confession to make, and I'll bring in my two good co-hosts, the two amigos. We form the three. And that is, I've noticed there are some people who have very high-pitched voices, and it's very difficult to not react in a slightly awkward or funny way and perhaps embarrass them. I don't know how to deal with these people. We have now employed someone who's working here in the house, and she speaks in a very high tone. And I'm always taken aback by that. It's like a 6-year-old is talking to me in the body of an adult. So it's a little scary. How do we deal? There are all kinds of minorities in this world. Sometimes it's based on religion, caste, community, all that. But there are much more important minorities for me, which don't have a voice, ironically, here, because it's a very high-pitched one. And I want to discuss that with you. If you know and have in your area a person with a very high-pitched voice and how that throws you off your game and you don't know how to do an interaction with the person without disrespecting them or causing them offense, then this is the right platform for you. And this is a point we will discuss.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.
Let me bring on the show the one and only beautiful Amit Doshi and gorgeous Silverie, also known as Antariksh. Guys, I'm perplexed. This is a serious problem. It sounds flippant, but it's not. You see, every time they talk, I tend to smile. I get this, I get that awkward like that. And the person just says something like phone hai. And you're like that, it doesn't make sense. There's no reason that the communication was funny. But I think now that it's there, it's like in my head, the ring is going to happen every single time I hear the voice. And I don't know how to deal with it. And this happened before. It goes back to, in fact, Seinfeld had an episode I remember. It's a pure
High
Larry
talker.
David, high talker.
No, that was a low talker, not the high talker.
Low talker. But it's the same thing, It's just the awkwardness of their speech pattern which throws you, and then you don't know how to react. That, of course, was genius, where he doesn't know if the next date is on or not. That's another story. But mine,
you should ask them to sing it in song, right? Because then it'll be called, what is that, a falsetto?
Yes.
If they sing it in song.
Exactly what you're saying is what I thought. I was thinking of all the, the mischief in your head. You're thinking of how would they be as a PA announcer? How would they be at the airlines, at the airport, telling you, hey, flight number 785 is ready for boarding. I was all these thoughts. You know how we are, with no malice really, I hope. But yeah, this is a difficult time in my life for me to handle this thing at the moment. I just don't know how to do it, and I don't want to offend them because it's not their fault. Or firstly, there is no fault. It's just a different voice. It's a bit like you're taking racism and prejudices to another level now. In the end, you see, we're all caught with some form of prejudice. And so my first question to both of you is, do you know any high talkers or high-pitched voices in adults amongst your friends?
Many.
You remember Mike Tyson, Sachin Tendulkar, all these have been made fun of.
So those are there, but I mean, like, even amongst my friends, I have quite a few who are surprisingly kind of thin, reedy voices. Like, 6'3", big guy. You're assuming, like, booming voice of that.
The visual package is so different.
Yeah, and what you wind up with is so it's not like this, it's not that, but it's like a really thin voice. Like I was watching a documentary a couple of weeks ago on Abraham Lincoln, basically around the Civil War stuff, right? And one of the things that people were constantly surprised with him is how high pitched his voice was, because again,
Really?
that guy's That guy's like huge, right?
So
He's
I
like,
am reading this article right now.
oh,
I'm reading this article right now to Amit's point, right? It's called Male Celebrities with Surprisingly High Voices, a Celebration. And the first name
okay,
is Abraham Lincoln. Like, what are the odds that
yeah,
he will say
there
that?
you go,
Four
there
scores
you
and
go.
Yeah.
four scores and 11,000 years ago. Oh God, that
Yeah,
would
no,
be
because
like
again,
with
yeah, you
malice
see,
towards none and charity towards all. I mean, how's that going to work? How did the birth of
no,
a nation
it
come out of
sounds
that?
like a very baritone voice, but apparently the Daniel Day Lewis voice in
Hmm.
the movie Lincoln, right, is actually
Yeah,
very close to what he actually sounds like. So
yeah.
because Abraham Lincoln, I think, is the first or the earliest president whose actual voice survives in voice recordings, right, in phonographs and stuff like that. So
But
you can actually hear what his voice sounds like.
dead in
And
1863, right? So was there
um,
anything?
yeah, the phonograph was there. I think you had wax phonographs.
Or maybe word of mouth was enough because at least one
Uh,
generation apart. Yeah.
Maybe it could be, but no, I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, see, there is a voice recording on YouTube available of Abraham Lincoln.
Can we hear it at some point? I would love to hear the voice.
I can play it right now.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in your life, Abraham Lincoln's voice from the dead. And apparently, this is what it sounds like after 170 years. Let's see.
Chrome tab, share audio, Lincoln speaks, share. Oh wait, sorry, this is a documentary. This is not the actual voice.
Hey, we don't have
I'm
any
sorry.
topics.
It's
We
a
don't have any
documentary
topics.
called Lincoln Speaks.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I thought it was
We'll
his.
just play the documentary. It's fine. We
No,
can
no,
all take a break.
I'll find what we need in the meantime, right? Because I know that I've heard this
Okay.
before.
So there was this actor
Okay.
model called Deepak Malhotra, was it? Who remember Amit and back in many years ago in the 90s or something? He was launched. He had a very he was like the top of the line model. They launched him in a movie, and then I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
he had a high
From
voice.
yes, 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 the Sridevi movie.
Yeah, yeah,
With
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Anil Kapoor and Sridevi in double role, and
Yes,
like the
yes, that's right. That's
incestuous
right.
movie,
Correct,
kind
correct,
of
correct.
semi-incestuous movie. What was
Yes,
that
and
movie
what
called?
stood out?
Yash
ah,
Chopra movie.
Yes, you're getting it all right, but the point is the voice.
Sridevi in the desert first as an older woman for Anil Kapoor's mustacheless
Okay,
hero,
then
and then
I'm
after
sorry I
that,
brought out your bad side.
Lamhe.
This
Lamhe.
is this film tormented him for 25
Yeah.
years, but above all, it was the voice of the main hero.
yes,
Which,
Paro,
and in Hindi films, the hero
Paro.
not having a deep voice is very difficult. I mean, in the
Yeah.
last 10 years, they've survived, of course, but in the old days, impossible. So that what was it? What, am I
But for him, it was not just the voice; it was also the accent.
the accent, the voice, but the voice? I remember us all talking about it and making a big deal out of it. The voice.
Yeah, yeah, I know because it sounded insane.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of
I
the voice,
This
remember
article is saying
somebody passed
Mike
behind me.
Tyson has a surprisingly
Yes,
high voice, if you think about
he
it.
high
has a very high
voice.
voice.
He's got a slightly high voice. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But and remember when when these guys have great bodies of work and with high pitched voices come on stage, that's terrible. I've done a show like that
Yeah.
once. I remember in Delhi somewhere, and I remember calling. I think it was German or French or something. He was a CEO worldwide, and so let's call him Mr. Smith. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, a seven-time Golden Gloves winner. This, that, the one and only Mr. Smith. Hello, how are you? Everybody. But it was awkward. It's so awkward those moments because
Yeah.
you can't laugh. Anyway, here, so I'm very scared to interact with this lady with the light voice. So are we getting to see the Lincoln recording or shall we move on?
no, I think we need to move on because I think that I am thinking of a. I'm thinking of something else. It's not there.
Don't worry, we'll save the day. Silvery, our talent on board, in-house talent, is going to do a southern accent from the 1860s as Lincoln. He's also got half a beard, so he's already there.
Lincoln, not
Wha-
southern. By definition,
Midwest?
the non-southern, no, Midwest.
Uh,
Yeah,
okay. So
his problem
Midwest,
was with the South.
I mean,
yeah.
I can do I say that kind of accent.
Wait. First, let
For
Amit
the
gloat over the fact that
okay.
the whole fight was between South and North, and I put him the wrong side. He's very happy with that. I was just
No,
trying
no,
to
no. I'm
understand.
not. No,
Remember the birth.
listen, I just expect to be right all the time. That doesn't mean that I expect
In
other
this
people
very,
to.
very low fruit here, bro. Me and Silvery. What's wrong with you? I can't remember anything, and he doesn't care. Silvery, come on, try. Okay. Let's
Okay.
face it, we're not going to go south or north of America. We just go into
Yeah.
America with this voice, yeah, if we can.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's like a high pitched voice, like an
Yeah,
elderly
it's got to be.
person, high pitched
Yeah,
voice.
well, not elder
Like
in his pomp, like proper male. So you can be, yeah, whatever.
okay, so Listen to me, my fellow Americans. I don't know. That's the
Wow.
best. But it doesn't sound Western. I
No,
think
it's not
Amit's.
bad. It's not bad. It's much better than some of the other older stuff. Don't worry. It's not bad at all.
Wow. Okay.
We'll give you, if
The
we
bar
find
is
the
so low.
reference, if we find the reference, we'll move it. We'll give you another chance. But the reference will make a
Okay, cool.
difference.
Yeah,
Amit, you
cool,
want to take
cool.
a crack at it since you're the only one who's heard the voice?
I don't do voices, dude.
You
I
do.
can't do voices.
Oh, what a hypocritical thing to say. Every break is your
What?
voice. What
No,
do
no,
you
I do my
say?
own voice. I can do my own voice. I can't mimic other voices. My
Can you do? Can you
doing
do
my
Amit? Can you do Amit Shah, the Home Minister?
yeah, I can do Amit
Because
Shah,
that's
the
one
Home
way we can get
Minister.
a sponsor. I was just
That's
thinking.
true, actually.
Yeah.
That is true. Maybe I should just show up rather than like actually try and speak. Maybe if I just show up, it'll work.
But then don't talk at all.
Just
But you
like
don't need to.
just do
Yes,
something
yes.
like that.
Superb, superb.
Snap my hands, point my fingers
Yeah, yeah,
around, and
yeah.
things will happen.
But you would have lots of chelas, you know.
Who knows if they're good or bad?
Yeah. Well, I think for now you're pretty much safe. We should everything. The doors will open. The doors will definitely open. Okay, so since we can't get Abraham Lincoln, let's go into our first story of the day, which is
Yep.
not bad.
Before
Oh,
the
good.
main story that we have.
Okay, so yeah, dude, we should not start this. Yeah, I know,
No, no,
man. What
no.
the hell?
The
Less
moment
than
you
10
said
minutes
before,
of
I know
starting the
we're
story.
back in form. Yeah, no, no, no. This is right. My mistake to go into the story of the day. What comedian does that? Yeah.
There's a
Go
little
on.
video that I need Cyrus to take on since Cyrus is such a gym buff. I need to share this with Cyrus.
It's got to be a
Okay.
funny one, I'm
Tell me,
sure.
do you guys see my screen? Do you guys
Yeah.
see my screen?
Yes.
Oh
This
my!
is
What a
this is Modi
position
ji.
to put me in, yeah. Oh,
Working out.
yeah.
That's not a pull-up machine. That's a push machine, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Or
looks
is it a
like a
He's
pull
pushing
shoulder.
him
machine?
up while
It
he's
looks like
pulling
a
it
lat
down.
pull down machine, which is he's using to push. Now he's doing the correct thing somewhat.
Sorry, the
Uh-huh.
Should be
quality is really
facing
bad on this somehow.
should
I
be
don't know why
facing the
it's
other
not
way
going like
firstly,
this.
generally,
Okay.
and sitting, but I guess that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose sort of machine. Um, let's just say yoga is his thing. Yoga is his thing. This is, for me, when in a gym, when you see people's body language, you can quickly tell who's interested in training and who's not. There's a certain. It's with everything in life. When you're on stage with people, you can tell people who are happy and comfortable and those who are feeling awkward and shy or whatever immediately. Or in a cricket pitch or a football match or poker, you can tell the body language and the whole idea is. And after that, the person who reveals less wins in a sense. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to comment too much on this. I'd let the Home Minister speak. Sir, what did you feel as someone who's closer?
I don't know
You can
what to
always talk
say,
about
dude.
the color. When in doubt,
I
Amit,
don't know
talk
what
about the
to
color.
say.
The color yellow was far too bright, I felt, for any gym. Yeah. It
Okay.
makes it sound like one of those nursery school sort of colors, yeah, yellow. Huh, Bolo?
I read
Silvery?
a Twitter comment which was really funny.
Yeah.
It was something to I forgot who it was, and it was something to the tune of "This is Arnold Sarvasthanagar,"
Okay.
like just changing the name,
Hey, listen, I mean,
basically.
it's good to exercise, right? I mean, like, he should exercise. We should be happy that he's exercising.
And he does. He's supposed to
Yeah.
regularly exercise. Ever since demonetization
Yoga.
happened as well, you want to exercise much more because in the old days you had to reach for cash in your pocket and you got to search for all kinds of things. Paperwork here, paperwork there. It takes hours to get things together. But I'll say this: if it was Joe Biden or most of the world leaders, elderly world leaders, that is, I think they would all be challenged if you put them inside a gym and suddenly expect them to do something. There's one guy. There's one guy who can show them all what it's like, and that's a guy called Putin. Apparently, he spends more time in the
Oh,
gym than he spends in parliament. So that's
yeah,
the
I know.
other, and you can see the results. You can ask
Yes, you
Ukraine.
can.
Yeah, they'll tell you all about it. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But two
All right.
things. When
Yeah.
you're doing these presses or pulls with machines, I think it was a lat machine all said and done, and he was doing shoulder press, but that's or maybe it's a multi-purpose. You can do both. Couldn't 100% tell. The wrist is always a giveaway. Just the other day, somebody in the gym was trying to say, "But just see my form." But they had limp wrists while doing that. I don't know why men do that from time to time. Not to say it's a gay thing, and not to say gay thing is a bad thing or anything like that. But you actually don't really do this. Have you seen guys who do that while boxing? I gave him one punch.
Yeah, it's like the guy who the punch
Yeah,
is like
with the thumb in.
the
Yeah,
fist
oh,
is
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
this,
The thumb in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
I'm
thumb
like, that's
inside. Yeah,
when they're telling
I
a
get
story
that.
of valor, it doesn't make any sense that he punched anyone
Yeah,
like that.
correct.
And that was
Dude,
right.
I had a cousin whose fist was this. I have a
Yeah,
cousin this is his fist. This is the fist he
yeah.
makes. I don't know why this is the case. He's like,
Wow,
dude,
what a guy.
when I punch someone, I'll punch you with
You
the
can
thumb.
poke him also, right? That's the idea.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine your
exactly.
cousin has a fist like this, firstly, that ridiculous fist, then it's bent
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, which seems to have no energy in
yeah,
it, and thirdly, he's got a high
exactly.
pitched voice. So he gets into a road fight. The first thing, "You kya
Yeah.
bola, sala?" The guy will be like, "Wow, this is the fight I wanted." All right, that was. Where do you get this video from?
Yeah.
So
I,
it was just before New Year's actually, and I've been meaning to show it for like the last few weeks, but we just keep covering other topics. But
I
it
don't want
happened
to be
around New Year's
critical,
where he was
but I
putting
heard
music.
someone in the opposition say he only did 2 reps. Huh? By the way, felt that there was a little bit.
well, okay, that's probably true, but does that
Listen, that's as
matter?
far as we can go. Let's not cross that line now. We've reached the point where we've said what we have to say, and it's fine. Elderly gentlemen playing around the gym. That's it. Amit,
Yes.
would you like to comment? Or should we call Munawar
No,
Faruqi
I
and
have nothing to say.
Kunal Kamra and ask them to handle
That
it?
would be. It'll be
Yeah.
safer to have them do this.
By the way, there's a blanket invite in Telangana by the chief minister to Munawar Faruqi to come and perform. Huh? And I think you had vaguely said something to that effect, but now I got all the details. And so they've said you come only because of this third wave, so-called third wave or whatever, they pushed it back a bit. Full like big stadium or whatever, and people then will let's see who's going to stop you, that kind of thing. So
It's all well and good, but he's
politics.
still a political football, right?
Well, he
I
still
mean,
has
like
five
what?
states. He can perform in 5 states at the
Yeah.
moment. So
No, but he's
you
still a
know,
political football, which is
yeah.
the unacceptable part of this, right?
No, and the problem,
It doesn't matter left or right who is blocking, right? Because
yeah.
right now we are blocking on the left. Sorry, right now it's being blocked on the right. It'll be blocked on the left. Somebody else will block on the left.
This game of chess, you're playing into the hands of the right or the government
Yeah.
in a sense, because then you get polarized because now you're like Team Congress or Team whoever, non BJP, let's call it
Yeah.
for now. I won't reveal my cards. But once you do that, because then you have, in a way, you're not non-aligned. You cannot be non-aligned because
You
they've
cannot. You
protected
are.
you, and obviously you're going to temper your comedy towards them. I'm sure you'll purposely say a few things, but it's very
Hmm.
clear that it'll be tempered, so it won't be a sincere effort.
Exactly.
I mean,
You
if they
make
come.
BJP jokes every so often.
And if they come to power, or their leader comes to power as the prime minister, if not as a party, but they're represented as the governing body of the country, then what does he
Wow.
do?
I made a joke and that just completely passed. This shows why
Oh,
I'm
I,
not a
I didn't hear. I
comedian,
didn't
right?
hear. I talk too
I
much.
was just saying that you make BJP jokes every so often. I was making a comparison in that sense, right?
Oh,
But and it was supposed to be a sarcastic, like the
oh,
double sarcasm kind of thing, and just
oh.
completely fell flat.
Okay. And then
That's
in,
okay.
in the repeating, it didn't have the moment,
It didn't have the
unfortunately.
moment. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
damn. Shall
It,
we do
it
the whole
was
show
yeah.
again? We can start
I
without the high
we can
pitched
start.
voice.
Just for this joke. Yeah.
It's 17 minutes. We haven't gone to a
Yeah.
topic yet, so we really could start without a
Yeah.
problem.
We really good. We really good. I was just trying to think, but all the famous people, there must be politicians. No one's coming to mind. If anyone on the chat, well, I suppose that will be out of the
Uh,
question. Can you remember a politician with a really high voice? Now, Rahul Gandhi's voice was not polished enough in the
Mm.
sense that it sounded like an untrained
hmm.
voice initially. There was one thing that went against him. His oratorial skills were not very great. But
FDR.
was it bad? Was he a
Yeah,
rooster?
yeah. He had the. This is a day that will live in infamy.
LaGuardia.
Huh?
Mayor LaGuardia.
Who
I've heard him
LaGuardia? I
speak.
don't know who that is.
It's an airport.
Why would you
No,
even
no.
have heard him? Why would you have ever heard LaGuardia speak?
In some documentary, he was talking, and I remember. I don't know why that was the. I
Let's
don't
see
even
if
know
I'm right.
why I know that.
But
I
Mal-
know
I
for
do.
sure that this will that FDR ka speech is there on YouTube. Let's see what it sounds like. That we can definitely do.
But while you're finding that, I can tell you Marlon Brando's character in Godfather actually is a very light voice that he uses, even lighter than his normal
Yeah, it
voice.
is. It's a very narrow
Hey,
voice.
I gotta tell you, too many people. It's a very light voice, but he's like this
It is
fiendish gangster to be not to be trifled with. So that was a good. I wonder if they did that deliberately because okay, this is FDR.
quite possible. Yeah, let's see.
Oh, time for another documentary.
Yeah,
Sorry. Sorry,
this
sorry.
is only a 1 hour long one. Don't worry.
The President of the United States.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker,
Maybe not
members of
so
the
thin.
Senate,
Hey, Amit,
of the
you
House
set
of
this up.
Representatives,
He sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I remember it as being thinner.
Okay, don't worry. We've got only about 25, 30 US presidents to go. We'll keep trying till we get the guy, okay? From Lincoln onwards, till we get the one guy with the poor voice. Was
Amit
George
left.
Amit? Amit is so upset he left.
I was so upset. Like, David is not high pitched. I'm
But
leaving.
you didn't even unleash the comments of one more failure.
Yeah.
The lack of uniformity, the lack of clinical precision on this show. They're writing in and saying,
I'm sorry about that. Instead of
Yeah.
stopping the screen share, I
Yeah.
by mistake hit
it
the
was a
news
bit like
menu.
Chandrayaan. You just disappeared for a little while and came back in a good mood. Yeah, all good. Yeah. Ooh, leave it there. Leave it there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Leave the ball out of play. Anyway, let's see. On a future date, if we can put this together, we'll try and find high talkers. If anybody out there watching this show can identify and send us, we'll be more than happy. Famous high talkers beyond Mike Tyson and Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin, by the way, has improved his voice
Yeah.
tremendously today. And so is Mike. I watched a lot of Mike podcasts with Mike Tyson.
Young Al Pacino. Young Al Pacino.
It's not light.
That's around Serpico. Around Serpico, he had a kind of a high pitched voice, kind of.
Maybe, but I don't know.
It doesn't stand out as unmanly. The unmanly quality should come with it. Then because the contrast of Scarface with a gun in his hand, and, I'm gonna kill you. It should be like that.
Okay, I found a article, and I'll throw out some names. Tell me if you guys remember any of it. David Beckham.
Yes.
Yeah?
David Beckham, 100%. High pitched
Okay.
voice and nothing. He's this manly. Well, he's a bit, likes his fashion and all that, but still, he's quite the manly set piece champion footballer. Not given enough respect as a footballer sometimes, I think. So his voice, I've seen a lot of shows with him. Or with
Okay.
that the talk show host, the English guy, the big fat fellow, James, whatever his name is,
James Corden.
James Corden. Yeah.
Oh,
So
League of Our
so-
Own. League of Their Own.
yeah, that guy exactly. So
Okay.
no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Another one I have is Elijah Wood, the guy from Lord of the
From Lord
Rings.
of the Rings.
And,
No.
he's
Yeah,
pretty
kind of-
thin voice.
Diminutive fellow, no?
Yeah,
And
he's got a pretty thin
Charlie
voice.
Day is there in that article also.
Charlie
Yeah.
Day,
It's
but I
always
thought it's a
Philadelphia.
put on. That's a put on in Philadelphia, isn't it? His voice.
No, that's his actual voice. That's his
That's
actual voice.
preachy
really?
voice is
Interesting.
his.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
he's
squeaky
got the
kind of
quality.
voice, squeaky
Charlie
kind of-
Day. I always
Hmm.
thought that was just an act of the character where he just speaks up. He tends
No,
to
I think
scream.
it sounds sort
That's
of
his actual
natural,
voice,
right?
yeah.
And he maintains it for a long time. Then
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are some singer
And
names
no, I've
here.
heard him
which
in interviews, I've heard him in other movies and all. It's
Oh.
all the
I
same
mean,
voice.
Yeah. So the voice
Uh,
never broke, apparently. That voice couldn't have broken. It's completely like a 14-year-old, not more. Who else?
There's some singers in here, right?
Jerry
So
Seinfeld goes high.
he's
That's his
also actually
style.
kind of he's kind of naturally high too.
yeah.
Actually,
Oh, is it where's he
Yeah.
from? Brooklyn? Where's he from? They have that nasal
he's-
quality which gives it also,
I
no?
think it's
I don't know.
Queens, New York. I think if I'm not mistaken.
Queens or whatever. So does it have
Yeah.
that nasal style of talking? Because the nasal makes it higher.
Maybe.
But it doesn't bother me.
They mention Ryan Reynolds.
No.
But I don't. No, so it has a regular low voice, but sometimes his voice is strangled high, especially when he's frustrated. So I get that's just making a high pitched noise. That's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
that's a little
Yeah.
unfair. When we're frustrated, we make all kinds of sounds. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. What about women with low voices?
Those
The other
are
way.
there. Catherine is the first one that comes to mind, right? Body Heat, Chandler's mom in Friends, Kathleen
Even
Turner.
our favorite Usha Uthup, her
Yeah.
voice, if you listen to her and you don't know who she
Yeah,
is and
yeah.
all that, is very low for a
Yeah,
woman.
yeah.
Yeah. So
My mom has kind of a husky voice.
Yeah.
Can you get on the
Let's
show?
just sing. Yeah, I'll sometime. Yeah, sure. Not right now.
At some
Not
point, yeah.
now.
At some point when
At
we're
some point.
talking about like basically not stuff that is going to get Antariksh in trouble.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
listen,
I
Amit,
mean, that's
Antariksh's
not-
family is a stamp for all of us, a safety stamp, because he's the sense of Indian democracy surviving. Okay, Amit
Amit left again.
just
dude.
deliberately walks out of his way, throwing a tantrum. We won't put his family on. It won't be nepotistic. What is the problem, boss? Just walked out.
I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened.
No, but
Oh,
here,
what? Okay.
I'm just loving it because it's not my tech. Although I'm on my way to Alibag, so I better keep my mouth shut. Viral. Yeah.
But I didn't. You're in Alibag.
No, I'm not yet, but I will be
Ah,
because
okay,
of
okay.
this chief
Yeah.
minister's almost lockdown. It's driving us mad. But anyway, coming back to this, so his family for me is great
One,
because it's very rare to see in
uh,
India, in America, maybe even India, where the son is more left and the parents are more right in the same family and they live happily. which is a
That's
great,
true.
which actually is a good sign of democracy.
That is
Because
true.
there are happy
I-
families
Happily,
living
I
like
mean.
I
that. For
Uh,
now, happy. Till they divide the property between the two brothers, then we'll see. Ah, to BJP support nahi hai, sala. You get the car. Only car, mom. Yes, only car.
yeah.
No, I wasn't referring to the left right of the situation. I was referring more to the Antariksh secrets of the situation. Things that he might not want to talk about in front of his parents. That's more of what I was
Yeah, yeah.
discussing.
Oh,
Yeah,
what have
basically,
we
that's exactly.
left out? The things that he imbibes, done. Pornography, done. Women who left him or came back, or houses he shouldn't have been in. Everything is.
It's
I
all
mean,
done.
now I think he just goes and
That's
tells his
true.
mom because of
That's
making
true.
the podcast. Just goes and tells her,
Man,
"Hey, get out of the system."
how do I still live in the same house with my parents? How they
I
not
don't
kicked me out
know.
yet? It's
But the
beyond
lovely
me.
part is you still have this Sharif act of touching feet and speaking beautifully and
Yeah,
sweetly to
that's
all the
true. That's
elders.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that's
biggest
true.
Besharam the moment the curtains are, there goes the biggest. Yeah, yeah, oh my guy, where's my mal? Totally different guy. Yeah. But now
Okay.
coming back to our high talkers, I'm just loving the idea of putting them together in a
The
montage.
final person on that list,
Yeah,
there's one more person on that list is
yeah,
Ricky
yeah.
Gervais, and he does have a high voice. Yeah.
He has both.
Especially when he's laughing and talking, he has
I
both.
know he
Yeah,
does a
I mean,
laugh. The laugh is high, but
um,
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
that was
But
super
then
high.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Carr has a ridiculous laugh, for example. If you listen to his
Oh,
laugh,
that's
it's
like
like
a
a
ha
second
Ha
show.
ha
ha
ha.
ha
Oh,
ha.
oh, it's a very strange
Yeah,
laugh.
Yeah.
yeah, very strange voice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, oh,
And
oh.
when he's in trouble with the gags not working,
Uh,
he just does the
you
laugh.
know,
Yeah.
one actor's coming to mind. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Have you all seen The West Wing?
I've seen a bit here and there,
No,
five
I.
five
So
minutes.
the actor who plays Josh Lyman, Bradley Whitford, he's
Hmm.
got a high voice.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not coming to mind.
Okay. All right. That's
What
fair
about in
enough.
the office?
Owen Wilson would kind of be
No.
kind of a high voice.
Owen
It's more
Wilson
like
has a
Seinfeld. It's a style of
yeah.
talking. But
He,
a little
he-
bit with a rhetoric style, with the questioning style, it goes up all the time,
Yeah.
whining.
Hmm.
He's a whiner. They're all whiners. Whiners are different.
yeah.
Yeah. What
He's
do
a
you think?
No,
whiner.
even
Okay.
even Josh Lyman's a whiner, but I feel like it's not a thick voice; it's a high voice. Uh,
Silly, Seinfeld his style is whining. If you look at he brought in the whole whining
Yeah.
style.
Okay. Sure.
I'm talking
Yeah.
stand
Yeah.
up, but even in the sitcom, ultimately, yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
Anyway, so
Sure.
yeah, so that's where we have
so,
it.
uh,
Uh, 28 minutes into the program, from what I can see, 27. Um, so shall we now start with one
we
topic
should
before
Yeah.
we go
We
to break?
can do that.
let's end the
A
break.
small
Let's
topic.
do an early
Yeah.
break,
Why
and then
don't you
we'll come back
tease that?
and do
We
the
can
story.
tease the topic, right? We can talk about what the topic
Because
is,
no,
and
that's
then get
not.
people to
Yeah, yeah,
come
yeah.
stay for the full break after the
Oh
break.
wow.
Stay for the full break.
Oh cool.
Also, we
Yeah.
don't know if we'll actually ever do the topic. So that's a double tease there. Go.
What is the
So
topic, Antrix,
don't
that
you
we're
just
going to
love
discuss?
it? Don't you just love it when politicians get caught doing just dumb shit that was easily avoidable and they didn't
Like
have to do?
governing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like governing, sure, or getting elected. Why did I do that?
Governing
Yeah.
is the
yeah.
most avoidable. You're right. It's the most easily avoidable of
Yes.
all of
I
their
mean,
duties.
I don't know why you'd want to be
Yeah.
a building president of a small building. Forget a club. I'm just looking around me, the small worlds I live in, and everywhere there's politics and people calling each other names. And
Yeah,
is it worth it? Does it
I
justify
refuse.
your? I refuse. It doesn't make
I
any
refuse.
sense. You just
I'm
become the
not.
person everybody sort of hates the moment you
Yeah,
come into power.
I'm not willing to be that person in this building. I'm just not. I'm not willing to be that person. I know that it's a thankless job, constant accusations of thievery. Everybody assumes that you are stealing stuff, and in some
Hmm.
cases, like so. To be honest with you, I for the longest time was like, "Hey, they're doing this stuff pro bono. You can't accuse them of thievery."
Yeah,
And then I found out it's fucking happening.
that's the
Hmm.
second part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my
I-
problem. One ex club president took me into the bathroom and told me a story about how a member took him into the toilet, the dressing room,
oh,
for no reason, and put the shower on and showed him how the water is not very strong from the faucet. And he was like,
amazing.
I don't know why he took this job when these things happen. What does he think I am, the plumber?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what a point!
no,
It's a pointless
it's the
job. Yeah.
most thankless job. So so I was just really so amazed at like the petty thievery, right? This was not like major
Hmm.
thievery. This was basically that if like honestly, it was so shocking to me. It was like, okay, if you are a electrician working in the building, you have to pay me 200 rupees. It was that kind of stupid shit. Yeah,
That's hafta. That's not so
it
much
was like
money extortion as it is gangster extortion.
yeah, It was ridiculous. I heard about this, and
Wow.
it's like a dude. It's like
Is
a
that the figure?
75.
Is that the figure? Or you just made up
It's
a
not.
figure?
No, no. It was so. It was kind of like that, right? It was like basically.
Wow.
It wasn't. I don't know if there was a precise figure, but it was in that range only. It was like you got to pay if you're the building.
So this guy's got a sedan and a SUV and everything parked outside,
No,
and
nothing. Yeah, what he's going to get with like 100 rupees from the electrician here? It's so basically the rule was this, right? That building appoints an electrician, building appoints a plumber, right? There is a building electrician, a building plumber who,
yeah. But
if
why does he want the chai pani money from him? I don't get it. What's he gonna do with the $100?
it's literally that, it's the chai pani. You basically pay for my like I'm gonna go have a cup of tea and a vada pav and all that shit's gonna
Or
get.
the president is setting a precedent because as you go higher with the vendors, the architect,
Oh,
the entire building planners, and all that,
it's
then if you're
entirely
getting
possible.
1% of that, is a serious amount of money. It becomes a little
Yeah.
much more. Yeah,
No, so
I
it
like his
was it
thinking.
was it
Yeah.
was literally that if you're going to become the building plumber or you're going to become the building electrician, you have to pay me 10%. And I
Is
was
he
just like, how?
is he Sicilian?
Huh?
This
I
guy
mean, he might as
is
well be.
is his name
Yeah.
Giovanni Sabaresi? Check. Bro, Silvery, we stopped you. You were going to do a whole presentation of go. And then, oh, your
Oh,
mom's called. Your mom's called. Be careful. Be very careful. Take the
this is
phone.
not
Cool.
live.
I got it. It's cool. It's cool. It's all right.
Okay.
I'll talk to her
It's
later.
live. It's
Uh,
live.
no, but she
Go
doesn't
on.
know we are recording right now, right? She thinks it's the morning one has happened,
Uh,
and now I can call and
An
disturb.
Indian mother can never be wrong. Don't worry. All the people listening also will be, yes, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Ma hai. The reverb will happen. Come on. What was the thing you were presenting?
Oh
You were
yeah.
saying,
So so I thought that was a tease about politicians doing dumb shit, and we come back
and then we
after the break.
screwed up your tease, and just before we hit your punchline, we took it somewhere else about governance, and then
Yeah,
got a lecture
all good.
about plumbers. I'm so sorry. Really apologize. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a horrible team we've created, three of us. It's so unsynchronized. It's scary. You know, I remember seeing a podcast. I think it was Joe Rogan only with four comedians, and one guy cuts the other one when he's about to deliver the punchline. Um, what is his name? The guy with the
Was it
slightly
Mark
German sound.
Normand?
Theo Van Theo.
Theo
Uh,
one. Theo one. Yeah, yeah,
Theo one. Yeah, so he cuts
yeah.
the other guy, and it's like, wow, how can you cut me now? Who does that? It's like, and then the answer was, and this guy starts talking just on the after a big setup and a full gag. Because he
That's so
wasn't,
funny.
we don't pay attention to each other all the time. So
Yeah.
you try to get your point in, you get your point in, you kill that moment of the other person. Oh, that's beautiful. This is what the podcast is all about. Sorry. It's a free for all. It's like driving
It's,
in Mumbai. Our podcast should be called that. So
Yeah.
should we take a break?
it's
Let's take a break.
yes.
Okay, we're taking a break.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun talks to the co-founder of Sleepy Owl Coffee, Armand Sood, about how he markets coffee to a generation that was raised on drinking tea. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav narrates an intriguing story that connects Shimla, rare books, and the American Declaration of Independence. On Agla Station Adulthood, meet writer Priyam Saha. She tells Ritasha and Ayushi about the overly romanced concept of life in the city. On a show about crypto, Rohan figures out what Web 3.0 is with the co-founder of Vault, Darshan Patija. And on Smarter with Sid, Siddharth takes us through the journey of the BlackBerry and what its future is. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. You can have a list of all of our shows at ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber.
Yeah, sports channels do it a lot. Self promos is part of the deal and all that. And
Yeah.
I think back to the original is the hoarding guy who, when he has no work for months, he puts himself up.
Yeah.
So talks about the hoarding,
Yeah.
available best in Asia, available all over the country, and all that. But it's like, really? Why isn't anyone on it? Months pass, it's the same thing.
Why does everybody in Bombay know the word sell well? Right.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
there's no reason
Yeah,
for us to know
yeah,
the name
right.
of a company that sells outdoor advertising.
yeah.
But they got probably one of the strongest brands in the country, or at least in the
They have.
city, right?
They have. We don't know how well the business is doing. I did know the man who ran it. He was also
Yeah.
ex-president of CCI. But let me tell you, there's no one in Bombay who doesn't know Selwell. They would have read
Yeah.
it in their childhood and onwards. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, how many prank calls do you think those guys get? Like, contact this
Hundreds,
number,
hundreds.
whatever.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure, right?
My old partner in my old business, right? He was very close to the folks who ran Roshan Publicity. So I mean, that was his
Oh yeah.
business as well. He used to do outdoor advertising, right? But he was more about like he'd get the what they would do is they would sublease their hoardings to Roshan Advertising, and so the guys from Roshan used to come to our office all the time. And I've had this conversation with them. It's non-stop. It's non-stop. It's basically the numbers that they are giving over there, it just does not stop. So I actually know a surprising number of people in the hoarding business. Very close school friend of mine, a guy named Yash Gala. Uh, he runs a hoarding company called Zenith Outdoors,
I've seen that.
and
I've seen that all over.
Yeah, I've
Zenith.
seen
yeah,
all Roshan and Zenith. Oh, all
yeah,
popular ones.
Zenith's a pretty big one
I
in
would
that
never
sense,
use the
right?
Z in Indian vernacular because it becomes J very fast. So all the time, hello, is that Zenith? You don't get that all his life. It's been a headache.
So Yash started the Zenith. Yash started the business when we were very young, right? So basically, his dad was into retail and a whole bunch of other things, right? Building, retail, etc. But Yash got into this outdoor business right after college because he met a couple of people. It seemed really interesting, and so he got into this outdoor building business right after college. And in excitement of first starting a business, he put his own phone number up there on the
Oh
hoardings
no.
because hey, if the customer wants, yeah, customer wants, I've
Yeah.
got to answer.
Wow,
And
Oh
yeah,
man.
what a
that
Oh
sacrifice.
was
man.
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Still answering
I
till
didn't.
today.
What year was this again? Like what year was this again?
This would have been 96, 97, something like that.
Okay. Oh,
Cell
Last year.
phones were
prank calls galore,
just
right?
yeah, no,
No,
no, cell
yeah,
phones
no
were
caller
just
ID.
coming at this point, right?
Huh.
And but cell phones were expensive enough that you wouldn't get so many prank calls, also, right? It was like 4 rupees per minute
Hmm.
times.
But we used to do that.
So not
Yeah.
that.
I love doing prank
No,
calls. I love doing.
yeah,
I would have gone for this guy. We love doing that when we were together on a Saturday afternoon. Just call people up. We used to call
yeah, but
random numbers
Cyrus
and say strange things like "Oh, mar
at
gaya
four
kya?"
rupees at 4 rupees per minute.
No, it wasn't. 80,
It,
180 calls were
yeah, yeah.
free.
Oh, was it? I thought it was like no, man.
Landline
Because
100,
you are paying
180
3,000
calls.
rupees, 180 rupees. No, no, but you have to remember the number from the hoarding to take it home and do it, no?
No, that old number, I can't remember doing it from a hoarding, but we used to call
Oh,
random people and do that, just irritate them. I still do that on Saturdays if I have nothing to do. The only thing is I make a mistake of using a mobile.
Did you ever prank call the cops by dialing 100 and
No, but in
then
MTV,
then
I
get scared
prank
when they
called.
call you back? Like, oh shit, they actually called me back. That's
When they made us
crazy.
work on 26 Jan, I organized a nice prank in MTV where
Yeah.
we called up the operator. And
oh.
I had a friend of mine who speaks Chase Marathi say that you are working on 26 January. We are sending the car, van is coming just now to pick you up. And we took her name, poor thing, and because she gave her name to the guy and all this. So she came to us and said, please stop shooting. They want to arrest us and all. We're not supposed to work on 26 Jan apparently. That's how I learned about it. Also, it was a
There
great
are
gag.
4 days a year in
Yeah.
India which are not allowed to work. I found
The
out
two
recently.
the two Gandhis, 15th and
26
26th.
Jan,
Yeah,
20,
yeah,
no, not the two Gandhis. 20 in Maharashtra is 4 days. Rest of India is 3 days.
yeah.
26 Jan, 2nd October, 15th August,
Hmm.
and only in Maharashtra 1st of May.
Which is Labor Day and Maharashtra Day. Samyukta
Maharashtra Day.
Maharashtra movement. Yeah.
These are the basically 4 days where everybody has to be off no matter what. All
But thanks to
other
the lockdown,
holidays,
we only worked 3 days.
yeah.
But where were we? What were we talking about? The hoardings.
We-
Yes, yes.
If I allowed you to put
Yeah.
anything up on a hoarding, and you're a really rich guy, what would you put up? Like I'd love to abuse my friends. It'd be like, "Parag, you choose." When he wakes up in the morning, he's like,
there are a lot of
Yeah.
really funny
I
hoardings.
slept with your wife. Yeah, sorry.
Have you
So
guys seen that movie? Three hoardings outside of Ebbing,
three
Missouri.
hoardings are Ebbings, Missouri. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
in the US, this is a thing that happens a lot, right? That I mean, like people put up hoardings for like pranks and reasons of all natures because it's a lot. I don't know why we don't do this in India, but I mean, like people do this all over, right? So I know that outside the Philadelphia Eagles stadium, there is a hoarding which is often bought by fans with messages they want to send to the team, right? So like they'll say trade this player, fire this coach. They'll
oh
put hoardings like
wow.
that up.
So it's basically sledging. You can sledge your own players and no one can stop you from
Sledge your own
taking it.
player, and basically they're seeing it out of their office windows, right? So I mean, like the coach is seeing,
And it'll be carried on the internet in 5 seconds, so it'll be all
yeah,
over. It goes beyond hoarding. Wow.
yeah.
Hey, let's start
No,
this. Hey, that's a great business idea. Let's do this here. Let's get one hoarding. It's just for people to vent. Come on, man.
okay.
I think if you encourage them to vent,
We
these
can.
hoardings will sell. The problem
I
is
think we
they
can.
always try to put brands. Forget the brands. Brands are important. Lower the prices. Let people vent. Give them just for 4 hours, for example. Give a 4 hour
But
deal.
there
So
are a lot of these
three
hoarding
of us
pranks that
invest in a
people have
hoarding.
done.
Okay, let me say that
Sorry.
slowly. A hoarding. Oh, okay,
Okay.
done. Done.
Done.
And I'm telling you, I can see money. I can see a lot of money from this one act.
Yeah.
Because every single CHUT across the country will be like, I want to be part of this deal. Let me abuse my cousin today. Who would do it, man?
No,
Yeah.
but I think it's but the fun is when you geographically combine it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you do something like let's say outside the CNBC office, you well maybe let's take another one, right? Because the
Yeah, let's
example
say
might
I
get a
only
little
learn
bit,
from
yeah,
one place. Yeah.
yeah, it might become a little weird.
Really.
Okay,
Let's go with
uh,
NDTV. Let's be safe.
okay, let's talk about NDTV, right?
Yeah.
So outside of the NDTV office, right? What if somebody put up a hoarding saying that Pranay Roy is
Looking for
not
interns.
is looking for it. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Whatever you want,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So stuff like that, right? I mean, like those are the kinds of things where it's fun, right? Where you put something outside somebody's office, right? Outside, I don't know.
Silverie's jotting down notes outside IBM when we resume. Amit won't mind. It was his idea.
The good thing is that IVM is on a main road, so hoarding would be pretty fucking expensive. So I don't think that anybody's just playing a prank on us like
It's
that.
worth the prank.
It
Yeah.
requires an investment. It requires a significant investment, right? To put a hoarding
Silverie, what
outside
would
our
you put
office.
up? Amit shaved today. What? I am working from home. Boo. Yeah.
I'd be like, ladies, call me at this number, and then just get prank calls. Just guys pretending to be girls would be
Yeah,
hilarious. I think.
pretty much that's exactly
Yeah,
what you would see.
that's exactly what would happen. Yeah, exactly.
Or
That'd
even
be
better,
funny.
do a money gag, no? Say
They'll
those
be all high pitched voices. No, guys, those guys will all have
Or
high pitched voices.
loans
one
of
you could
1
do.
crore and above at no interest available here. Boom. Rohit Agarwal at 777222. And boom.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
that'll just
Yeah,
hit it out of the park. Can you imagine? It's too good to be
yeah.
true. Hurry. Just put more hurry. That makes it sound ledge immediately. All
Yeah,
right.
no,
So,
no interest, no collateral loan available.
no,
Or
no, yeah. Because we
yeah,
want to believe, no? That's how you
yeah,
sell the stories in life, right? Because there's someone who actually wants to believe because that romance is there in your head that it can come true one day.
okay, I got the right one for outside the CNBC office.
Yeah.
Okay, outside the CNBC office, we put one saying that Cyrus and Kunal are looking for jokes, and then put your phone numbers there, right? And then let people call you with their
But
jokes.
it's too close to the truth. We are looking for jokes.
Yes.
Yeah, but do
Give
you
it to
really?
something that's too close. That's scary. But we could get Kunal properly. Kunal looking for life partner, male, female, both apply. It was more subtle. Gender no issue, something like that, Alrighty. Let's move this along.
Okay,
Um,
42
Yes, we
minutes,
have
no
that
topic.
topic. We have that
We have the
topic.
topic.
we didn't do the topic yet.
Yes.
We didn't do the topic yet. We came back and we started talking. We
I
talked
mean, we
about
did
billboards.
the Prime Minister doing shoulder press or something. I mean, so that I guess
Yeah, we
vaguely,
did. That's kind of
yeah.
the topic.
And
Yeah.
Abraham
Eh,
Lincoln documentary. We went all across the United States to find one high-pitched
Yeah.
talker and failed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
this show is an exercise in futility. I'm glad the people who are on the ride with us accept that. Yeah, it's like taking a
Yeah.
rickshaw in the suburbs in Russia. You're not going to go anywhere. So what have
Okay,
we got?
so I saw so this is a this movie just came out, right? I had a search for Billboard pranks up there. The movie Red Notice just came out on Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix.
we saw the hoarding
Uh,
with
yeah.
the Rock,
So
etc.
right, so Dwayne Johnson basically paid for a hoarding, saying right next
Kevin
to the
Hart.
movie.
Yeah.
No, for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds uses his mom's Netflix account. Right next to right next to the hoarding for the movie itself. So
Yes.
people
That's
people
right.
do this kind of stuff,
No,
right? It's
that's
a
not
funny
fair
thing.
because
Yeah.
if you're the highest paid star in the world, etc., you can buy a bloody hoarding for 3 days easily, or your
Yeah,
PR company would have done it anyway. But I'm saying I want to open it for the common man because common man's angst is so real. Can you imagine a guy hates his wife? Suparna, your chuddy smell. I don't know. I mean, just imagine guys just going crazy. You just give them this whole canvas and say what you want. Abuse the neighbor, abuse the local cabbie, abuse the vendor you buy stuff from, the Scootsy guy who ran over you. There's no end to it. Cable operators who never turn up. My Tata Sky, my poor mother has aged 1 year waiting for the Tata Sky guys to come. It's taken about
yeah.
2 months for a 1 day's job. These little things. Gotta go for it. We'll be the what Ornov didn't do but pretended to do. We can do it really. Allow them to vent. Let's save middle class India with one hoarding at a time. Who's with me?
Let's do
Nobody.
it.
I think we should do
No.
it.
Let's contact Roshan and
You
Zenith.
guys think it's a
and
failed idea already. Yeah.
No,
Somebody, there's a guy called Yash Gala somewhere screaming, nah! Don't call
I
me.
really I do like the idea of like these kinds of funny hoarding things, right? I think that there's a lot of
I think.
there's some really good ones, right? Like so I'm seeing this guy put up a hoarding saying "Wish my dad happy birthday" and put up his friend's phone number. So there's a bunch of different
Oh,
stuff
there's a
like that.
dude in London. There's a dude in London. Rishi just shared this in the chat. Yeah, there's a dude in London who put up a hoarding of himself and said, "Save me from an arranged marriage and find Malik a wife." .com.
Okay.
So
Uh,
obviously, it's a friend doing it on somebody. Most 99%. Yeah,
that could be it.
yeah.
Could be it.
I mean,
This is another funny one, but this is more you need to know a little bit about the software world for this to be funny, but it's hilarious to me,
show
right?
the visual if you can. Huh? Can't you upload
I
it
can show the
quickly?
village. I can
Yeah.
show the visual. One second.
Yeah.
Share screen.
I mean, there's
Chrome
artworks
tab.
involved in these.
Yes. So this is the one which I think is very funny.
Box.net,
Love
SharePoint.
hard
Thanks for
share
all the customers.
from
Hard
Box
SharePoint.
because SharePoint
Thanks for all
basically.
the customers. Box.
Thanks for all the basically
So
SharePoint sucked.
the rival, huh?
Yeah, SharePoint sucked, and so basically Box.net was able to steal all its customers.
Steal the customers. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's mean, right? But it's funny
yeah,
mean, I guess.
yeah.
Didn't Pepsi go that way with
Here's
Coke?
another one. Same one from the same folks, right? Sharing files
Hmm.
shouldn't suck. No hardware, no software, no SharePoint.
Yeah, negative advertising. The Americans do that still. I don't think we do
Yeah.
it too much here. As far as I remember,
But,
Pepsi did it to Coke, but not Coke to Pepsi.
yeah, I don't think we're allowed to. I think that there is a
It's not in the
what do you call it?
parampara and Sanskriti.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
can't do it.
against it's against
Uh,
the goal. The advertising council, not the ASCII
yeah,
council
yeah,
thing, whatever.
yeah. Because they're so
Yeah.
above board and everybody's not
Yes.
incorruptible and morally perfect. Yeah, fair
No,
Yeah.
enough.
No.
but you know, Mountain Dew and Sprite had a thing,
Like what?
and Coke and Pepsi have,
No,
have
no,
gone
no,
back
no,
and
no,
forth
no.
multiple times actually.
It's always under the radar types. They'll go back and forth, but they will not go back and forth like like for example, I remember at the time when I think Coke launched second in India, Pepsi launched first, right?
Yeah,
And so at the time when Coke
limo.
was launching,
Hmm.
the Pepsi had this long running campaign in other markets called the Pepsi Taste Test,
Yeah,
right? Which is people are used to drinking Coke, but actually, if you get people to taste it, Pepsi is what they like more. In a blind test, more people like Pepsi, right? And they were not able to do it. I remember there was something about them like this falls foul of ASCII guidelines.
Oh
Well, I
wow.
also think that Pepsi was easier to pronounce in North India. Oh, Pepsi. It just worked better, the pronunciation. And Coke, not to quote
Here comes
the
Coke.
Saina Nehwal Siddharth issue that happened. Ultimately, apparently, he had to tweet an apology, but he won't
He
get off
tweeted
his
an
back.
apology. Here's the thing. I
But what
still
do you want
don't.
him to do, Amit? They bury you into the ground, no? They make it into
I
sexism. There was no
guess.
sexism, but you have to just back off because mom and dad will tell him, people around him, tell him, bro, just get off it, man. Forget it. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sad.
I
Well,
call cock and bull on that.
Yeah.
yeah. I still don't
Mob
understand the
bull,
whole thing.
huh?
I just don't
Nothing. He
understand the
was
whole
being
thing.
funny. Uh,
Yeah,
this is
I
a
know.
setup. He's been set up. They've
Yeah.
attacked him and they've pushed people. Some of them consciously, some of them, pretending to believe this is the truth or whatever. I can't tell you what their intentions are, but 100% it then became like a woman's Me Too movement thingy. No, it's
Yeah.
not this huge thing. You have to be very careful of that. It spirals. And then the people involved are emotional, and like they are against Salman Rushdie at times, and whoever, I mean, they're not thinking. They're just saying, oh, he made sexist comment about genitalia and all that. But it's not that at all. He's simply playing a play on words because he's an
Yeah.
educated man who did that, and just
I
just clearly criticizing the super supporter, which is fine. This is a democracy. You can have a super supporter and you can have the anti-super supporter, and that's
yeah.
fine. What's it got to do with sex? There was no sex. There was no genitalia.
Nothing. I
Nothing.
just I don't understand the whole controversy. It seems so ludicrous on the face of it, right? That I mean, like, how is this a thing? I don't even get it.
Because you're an intelligent person, but for less intelligent people, it became something to
I
fight and die
guess.
for. It's very sad. But that's why I think we should have a third umpire in OTT
Yeah.
and in internet issues. 100%. You should have a third umpire who can quickly give
So
a decision saying, not intended to be malicious. Bye bye. Boom.
but you know what? You're right. Actually, now that I think about it, this was I think I might have told you this story before, right? But I remember once when I told somebody that this is the dumbest rule I ever heard. This was related to some club bill payment thing where they wanted something to happen. I said, "This is the
Yeah,
dumbest rule." He's like, how
BCA.
dare you call me dumb? How dare you call me dumb? How dare you call me dumb?
Yeah, I've heard this.
Yeah, with
You
BCA,
went to
right?
pay the bill or
Yeah.
somebody else's bill or something like that. Yeah.
And basically, I think the idea is as long as the word is used in proximity, it's enough to kind of
Yeah.
say that you're calling this person this, right? Because again, like he's using the word cock in proximity to Saina Nehwal tweet. There's no
But
relationship.
that is not the usage of the word. Cock is in a hyphenated usage of another word which has got nothing to do with the sexual
I
connotation. So
agree.
there's really this is the dirty mind of the person involved, or rather the
Yep.
cunning mind of the person who decided let's screw him by using
Yep.
this technique and saying this is what he intended to say. So all the women jump on the bandwagon and say Maro usko chappal se, which they could do for his acting, but not for his philosophy. I think, but that's completely wrong. By the
Agreed.
way, folks, we are at 6:20. Oh, sorry, I don't know what the time is because it's live, but it's 50 minutes into the show.
We're 15 minutes into the show and we have
Yeah.
not touched our topic yet.
And we have
I think
AMAs.
let's leave the topic for next time.
Yes,
We already
I applaud
teased
you,
it.
Daniel.
I
We
think we
teased
should
it
leave the
a
topic
bit
for
in
next
the
You
time.
upset
halfway.
him.
Let,
He,
let,
by the way,
let's do the
folks listening, by the way, Silverie wakes up early morning and he puts his topics together. He works really hard. He then eliminates a lot of topics.
I
There's a
know
lot of,
for the one topic
Yeah.
he really had to work hard to find the one
Yeah, yeah.
topic. A
No,
yeah.
4 week
actually,
old
I
story.
have
See,
Sorry,
Amit, that's not fair because in his
actually I
mind he's
have
thinking
7
only the
topics.
cream,
I have 7
exactly, only
topics,
the cream of those 7
but
topics
one
will
of the
reach
one,
the
yeah,
surface, and
exactly.
that's the one that's going
Yeah.
to. Let's face it, our average is so poor. So he thinks, let me make sure that the bang for the buck one gets
Exactly.
it.
There's no
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah, I can understand
Like
his
all right,
earlier, I
frustration.
would like.
let's do the
Okay, let's
topic.
just do the topic. Let's do the
Okay,
Let's
topic.
do the
This is
topic.
very
So
interesting.
we'll do less
So
AMAs this
basically,
time and take more AMAs the next time. Yeah,
yeah,
go
absolutely,
on.
that works. This one basically, as I said, this politician getting caught doing dumb shit that was easily avoidable.
Prime
This
People
Minister.
have
happened in the
forgotten. Antariksh, it was 25 minutes ago. People have forgotten. I think you need to go. You'll need to like
yeah.
give
I'm
that
gonna
full context
talk about
that
the
you
whole
gave
thing.
from beginning.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Of course, of course.
And he's known as Bojo, like Flojo or Kejo.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is
Dude,
Boris
you're spoilers.
Johnson is the
Spoilers,
person.
Oh,
man. He
sorry,
hasn't
I'm
told
not
you the
supposed to.
story yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The one topic we
Yeah.
That's
waited
fine,
all
man. It's
evening
all good.
for.
It's all good. It's
50
all good.
minutes spoil.
It's
50
all
minutes
fine. People
in.
don't know.
Your mother's gonna be so angry with me, man.
It's all good. All right, it's fine.
I'm voting BJP. Tell her I'm voting BJP. I won't do this again.
So in the height of the pandemic last year in May 2020, the UK, this is when UK was going through like very harsh, strict lockdown rules, which is like from each house, only 2 people are allowed to meet, and that too only outside, not indoors. If you want to meet other people, you could no restaurants, schools open, no pubs, nothing, no outdoor activities allowed whatsoever. Right in the heart of that, in the midst of all of that, from the UK Prime Minister's office, a message goes to his employees saying, "Okay, hey, let's come and enjoy this lovely weather we are seeing right now, and have a party at my place, a socially distanced party, but come for a party at the Prime Minister's garden, like in his residence, his own garden in his residence." And about 40 people ended up attending. And since then, the Labour Party and all the other his opposition, anyone basically who can see that the rules that Boris Johnson has made
Yeah.
for
Also, the
himself,
problem is put into
made
context
for others,
exactly.
don't apply to him. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, exactly what you're saying is that all these larger than life leaders like Boris Johnson, our leader, American leaders, German leaders, they are very very big personalities. Also, they're not just one of those leaders who you just don't hear of. So he goes on pontificating and pointing fingers and scolding people and telling them what to do, etc., etc., etc. And they were severe about the lockdown initially. In 2020, so then
Yeah.
the hypocrisy is the problem. Literally, it's like you're the one screaming and shouting from the rooftops, and then you're the one who on the ground floor of the same rooftop is enjoying a little party. But I'm sure he's not the only one. I'm sure plenty of people who are pointing fingers and saying do the right thing, including celebrities on Insta, saying wear your mask and do this and do that. They don't follow anything.
Or not. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I
That's
think
all.
we should never,
But
never.
this is also like similar to I mean, not nearly as big a scandal, of course. This is actually in the main thing of it. I'm sure it's like even a smaller scandal, right? But it comes down to like, was it Nixon who had said, "Okay, if the president does it, then it's legal," right? Who's Watergate? It was Nixon, right?
President said that
Yeah,
at the end of the Frost Nixon movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
It's
So
not a real
basically the same.
statement, but you're pulling
it's a megalomaniacal.
Oh, really? It's not. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I thought it was. Okay.
no. So basically, there was a movie called Frost Nixon which came out right a couple of years ago.
yeah.
Hmm.
It had that guy in it, the guy who plays the judge in Chicago 7. He was
Does he have a
the
high voice? Only people with high voices give me speeches in our show.
No, it wasn't
surprisingly
I was.
he doesn't have like a low voice. He does have a kind of highish voice, but not like super high. But at the end of that movie, that was the gotcha. But actually, in history, that's not exactly how that played out.
No, but they took a little liberty. That's fine. And in a sense, it's like a blurb that he would have said because you looked at his personality and said he would have said.
No, it is. It is. Apparently, that is transcript from his an interview he did with someone called David Frost.
David Frost, yeah,
That's the whole
David
thing,
Frost.
Silvery.
That's
David
what I
Frost is
just
an
said.
iconic
Frost Nixon.
legend.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, yeah.
yeah,
So, but then it's
interviews,
legal.
famous
Then
interviews.
it's real.
No,
Then.
no. So he did say it, but the thing is that when you read when you listen to the context of the entire interview, right? So the way the movie Frost Nixon was done and the way people see that movie, right, is as if it was
Okay.
this combative thing between two people going at each other,
Hmm.
trying to
Okay.
kind of like, he's trying to get him to say something. This guy's defending
No,
himself.
but there was a little one-upmanship in the actual interview also.
No, man, that actual interview was entirely a complete PR stunt put together by both of them for Frost to sell books and for Nixon to make himself innocent. It was a total out and out
Hmm.
PR kind of thing.
Oh,
So
wow.
there was no gotcha in the interview, even if he said it, and he probably did say it. There was no
It
kind of
was
like
more like a
moment.
tongue in cheek. Yeah. But one second, let's go back home. Deva
Huh.
Gowda, I remember quite clearly. Deva Gowda's son or somebody got married in the middle of the pandemic, and they had lots of people over and a huge sangeet and the usual
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I remember
I'm
that.
sure, and in the length and breadth of India, you're telling me not other politicians, high-profile politicians across many states must have had sangeets and parties and weddings and what have you. So,
Obama had his 60th birthday party during the rise of Delta, didn't he? If I remember correctly. Yeah.
I
Did
mean, you
he?
can't blame him. You're 60 only once. You can't celebrate it 2 years later.
No,
So the
I
right thing
get
to do.
that. I
Yeah,
get that. But
yeah.
still, it was in the middle of the Delta kind of when Delta was becoming when Delta was becoming more and more of a problem. He had a 60th birthday party then.
Yeah, but also look at the people who attend these things. Now, in the case of the Prime Minister of Britain, is it are you talking about members of Parliament and members of your party and what have you, and influential people? It's also that you I mean, you better not neglect the invitation because that could be dangerous because he's in a position
Yeah,
of power, etc., etc. So I'm thinking that when he invites you, you also have to go even if you don't want to go. Sometimes I'm thinking.
true.
So that's a
Hmm.
double crime because you
Yeah,
know that you're the kind of guy who, when you call people, they are going to have to come because of the office.
Antariksh, when I invite you for a party, you better show up.
No, he'll do it from
Like
home.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Oh well.
And Silvery, when I invite you for a party, don't bother because I'll be sleeping by the time you come. Because my party
Oh,
timings are
okay.
same as
Yeah.
any children's party, 4 to 7,
Works out.
and 7:01 lights off. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
It's
All right.
nearly the full hour. You have to go, right,
Yeah.
Amit?
I have
I
one
have.
AMA question. Should we do
Okay,
one?
let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
do one. I have a few minutes.
Yeah.
I have a 6:30 call, but
Okay. So
or
we have.
I have a 60-minute call, but yeah, I have a few
You mean a
minutes.
7 o'clock call, but okay, I'll let it go
What
because your
60
mind.
minutes post start?
Right, right.
I have a
Um,
call scheduled 60 minutes post start.
Post start. Off to the AMAs. There we go. Boom.
All right.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Board Brocha. I'm so bored. I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
This one and only AMA question comes in from Sachin SN, whose question actually is similar to what we were talking about, like along the same lines. But before that, he says, writing my first AMA to you guys. Let me start by saying I'm a huge fan of Cock and Bull, and I
A
listen.
debutant, a virgin.
Yes. Huge fan of Cock and Bull, and I listen to it during my morning jogs. People see me and may think I'm mad, as I will be laughing hearing the conversation between you guys. You guys are totally
Hey,
awesome.
they're not laughing at the
That's very
conversation.
kind, Sachin. Thanks
Sylvie,
a
they're laughing at the stupidity of these three people not able to put anything together after 1 hour. This is really
1 hour,
not.
one topic.
And even that, the conclusion is we weren't clear. Did Nixon say it? Did Nixon not say it? I mean, it's all over the place. Yeah.
He says, my question for you guys is, recently there was a rally conducted by a certain political group in Karnataka for constructing a dam. Although I feel the motive is good, but I feel the timing is wrong. And during a peak rise in COVID cases, especially in Bangalore, there has been no steps taken to stop these guys from rallying. But on the other hand, when there was weekend lockdown, the common man's vehicles were seized and would be returned after a certain duration. Why is
Super
there
point.
different rules to different sections of society? Shouldn't the
Absolutely
rules be
super
same
point.
for all?
And let me just quickly bring up because we had this time just a couple of weeks away from UP elections in full blown UP elections, and our chief minister there has gone on record, and I'm not quoting out of place. This is on record to say that 90% of UPIs are asymptomatic. Okay, which I suppose means wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We can now have our rallies. So EC, please
Yeah.
don't interfere because 90% of us are asymptomatic. I don't know if there's any power in the world who can give you this data of a big country like India's. Or, take the
Yeah.
biggest state and just say, I don't know. How do you come to that figure? 90% are
Yeah.
asymptomatic in the
Make
middle
shit
of this
up.
third wave.
Make shit up.
So
No,
how-
I mean, like what is the medical thing? ICMR, is that what it's called? The head or one of the senior guys from there went on yesterday and said similar stuff like that, right? That I mean, like it's all asymptomatic. 80% of us are going to get it. Nothing is going to happen. We have to learn to just kind of like, if you don't have symptoms, don't get yourself tested. All this shit. I mean, like the guy who is the point guy, one of the point guys the government is telling is don't get yourself tested if you don't have symptoms, right? Don't test yourself on the basis of exposure. I mean, like, how is that? That's just such a. It's like, what the fuck have we been doing for the last 2 years then?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
also, why can't we just be transparent and say this is the reason why we can't control these
Yeah.
numbers anymore? So we're requesting you to not get tested unless you're really feeling sick because we have an infrastructure issue. You see, then I'd
Yeah.
probably lean towards understanding what's going on. But it's just like you're just making up numbers all the time and telling me numbers 80% this and 30% that, 50% this.
Yeah.
This case, the dam, I don't know if they're for the dam or against the dam because normally, against the
There's
dam is
only
trying to
protest.
tribal
Only protests only
land
happen
and
against.
yeah. So as he says, the cause may be good. At the end of it, there's a sense of desperation.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just
That's a
saying.
different
I'm
thing.
just saying. If people are losing their land, Amit, out of a sense of desperation.
90% of the time, I'm pro land.
No, yes, but out of desperation, sometimes you say, I've got nothing more to lose. You're taking away my land, so I'll stand together and abuse the government or whoever's doing it.
That's
So,
fine. Do
so,
that.
so
They're allowed to protest, but I'm pro dam.
damn you.
I'm pro dam. I mean, like in almost every case,
Ah,
the
I
reason
can't.
to make a dam is more power, more development,
It may
more
be so, but
infrastructure, more this.
no, I think that's a little unfair. We can't just do blanket statements like that. We got to see the lay of the land, how the situation is, how many people are
Obviously,
being, you
specifics
know.
matter.
So yeah, the specifics.
Dislocated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So and what
obviously
you say is
specifics
correct. What
matter.
you're saying is you're pro progress. So it's like even with the
Yeah,
roads and everything else. So everything pro modernization and progress. Fair enough.
yeah.
But we can't do it in such a way that you behave like some blitzkrieg mammoth and just destroy everybody in
Yeah,
7 seconds. So
I agree. I mean, it doesn't make sense to put a dam right in front of a big city. Obviously not, right? You don't want a floodplain where your city is enveloped. I understand that,
anyway,
but urbanization is the key factor for progress.
yeah, but coming back to the question, and the point here is there a point where you have some legal, not legal, is there a point where you have some moral right to disregard the COVID pandemic rules? Okay, so if there is, then I'm saying if you're losing house and work and so your society as you see it is going to vanish in front of you, I'm thinking that maybe at that point a person is going to say, screw all this, screw the COVID pandemic. So there might be, I'm just saying there might be, depending on each individual, a point. For me, it was when they told me to go back home. I couldn't believe it. I firstly don't like home, but when you tell me to go back home, I'm like Novak Djokovic. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Okay, I'm a spoiled guy, yaar. I'm a
Who
spoiled guy. I'm not going to listen to your pop. Then he screamed at me.
who
So
told you to go back home?
right in the first 2020 thing when they started with the
Oh,
loudspeakers,
okay,
I couldn't bear
2020.
that,
Yeah,
Amit.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
I
Of
don't know
course.
why people want more hurt and angry with the police shouting at them from the loudspeakers and
Oh, you're talking about the cops. I thought you were talking about work people. Okay,
even
sorry,
work
sorry. I
people.
misunderstood. I
Just people
misunderstood.
behaving in this panicky fashion, talking
Yeah.
down, taking away your liberty. Just now, we just go to this whole Djokovic thing. End of the day, Australia's behavior has been a little atrocious for me. A lot of people are saying, "How dare he do this? How dare he do that?" But at the end of the matter, they've just been ridiculous. They've been so high-handed about everything, and they had a very severe lockdown. Australia has lost a lot of points for me.
Yeah,
I'm not happy with
agreed.
Scott Morrison. I really.
Agreed.
Can we get him on the show? That'll teach him.
Sure, I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Yeah. That'll
Okay.
teach him.
All
Tell
right.
him to show up.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, Amit, go back, earn some money for us. I'll go and walk my
Thank you.
dogs. We all have
I
different
shall do
lives.
that.
As they say in Gujarati, adios, amigos.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Habits? Routines? How exactly do they help us get better? Well, to simplify it for you, tune in to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashton Doctor and I'm going to be here to help you get better daily with some simple, easy to do habits that you can easily adapt to your life. So tune in to the Habit Coach podcast from Monday to Friday because I believe that awesome lives start with awesome habits.
Are you looking for finance products and services that can enhance your personal finance experience? Are you looking for a space to talk about your financial product or service? And are you looking for a crisp talk show where the conversation is all about money? Well, your search ends here. Hi, My name is Anupam Gupta and I'm host of the Paisa Paisa podcast, and I invite you for the conversation about your personal finance on each Monday on the IVM Podcast app or the website or on any podcast streaming platforms. See you folks.